Excellent. Welcome to this Microsoft 365 for SharePoint feature demo show, whatever we call it show. I don't really care. And no, it doesn't matter, because this time we once again have a great feature show and feature demo coming up from Cathy. Cathy, let's start with an introduction. Who are you and what do you do for a living?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Cathy Dew. I'm a senior product manager here at Microsoft working on SharePoint. And for the last bit now, I've been focused really on SharePoint branding. So really excited to be focused in that space again.
You've been in a show in the past as well, and we talked about a lot of the impact of the branding, and you've been really, before you actually even joined on Microsoft, you were an MVP pushing on a branding capabilities on SharePoint. So we've been lucky to have you actually joining on Microsoft and bringing that knowledge and experience for this side as well, for the product creation side. And this time, I think we're talking about something again on Brand Center. So what's new? So what's happening?
We have a great set of updates coming out to the Brand Center, and the Brand Center is moving out of public preview into generally available. So we're really excited for that. And with this set of updates, we're adding additional support for some web parts for custom fonts. And then we're introducing a new color and theme management experience into the Brand Center. So taking it out of that very painful PowerShell install only experience that we've had for a while now, and giving you a great interface to build out your themes and to manage them.
Yeah, so just a recap of those who are not familiar with that, we used to have a weird website in a strange URL where you would go and create the theme, then you would copy that JSON or definitions, whatever that in string, and then you would do a SharePoint PowerShell. All of that is not needed anymore. It's still supported, right? But it's no longer needed.
Still supported, but no longer needed.
Yes, that's brilliant. Now, I think the easiest way to actually show the new steps in the Brand Center is really to have a look on there. So let's jump on the live demo and have a look on what has changed and what are the new capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you enter into the Brand Center app, which just a quick reminder, you get into the Brand Center app because you're the owner of the site that has been set up by the admin to either house your organization asset libraries or to be the Brand Center itself. And so there's a link through the settings menu there, the gear, to get into this, or you can have the URL directly on that site only as a site owner. And once you do that, you're going to come into the Brand Center and you're going to see right away a couple of new things. You're going to see this new brand colors experience that's available. And then down for both SharePoint and Viva Connections, you'll see themes added in as well as your font packages. So getting into the Brand Center, as the reminder, this does require this being set up. It does require the admin to do that, whether it is to set it up from start to finish, or whether they're configuring it and adding the Brand Center on to existing sites that are already using your organization asset libraries. But once your admin has done that, you'll be able to jump right in. And so again, the brand colors here at the top is again that list of colors for your organization that you want to have available in multiple experiences. So this will show up for your theme creation and in other places in the future. But when you come in here and you start, you'll see this is very familiar looking. And so you can add in colors and name them. And so we'll go through quickly adding a color. And so with this, when you come in to add a color, you get the very familiar color picker where you can use the slider to adjust and pick a color, or you could type in a hex value as well, or an RGB to go in and create that. And then once you do that, we're going to go ahead and name this. So we're going to name this our color, what we want it to be. So we're going to go ahead and call this one Relic Cloud Teal because that's very much what it is. And then we're going to go ahead and hit save. And once we do that, that color gets added into our brand color list and is now available for us to use in our creation experiences.
Yep, makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, so once I've added that, it'll be great. Let's go ahead and build out a theme. Now, the SharePoint and Viva Connections share the same font packages and themes. So when you come into either SharePoint or Viva Connections from those card experiences, you'll see the same things. And so you'll see now we've added in this new themes experience here alongside your font packages. And so I can come in and let's go ahead and create a new theme. So when you come in to create a theme, this may may feel pretty familiar. If you did happen to use that site that Vesa was talking about, that was the aka.ms/theme designer tool, which was a tool provided to us by the Fluent team. We've replicated a lot of that here just to make it easy and to keep it a very familiar experience. So when you come in, you'll have a set of drop downs to pick from. So you see here we have our primary color, and so you can see I have the default that was the SharePoint teal. I have this set of colors that I can pick from as a part of my brand color list. And so I'm going to go ahead and pick that for our teal. And then I'm going to come through and pick the colors that I want. So I can come through and say I want this to be black. I could go through and add black for my text. I can choose white for my background. And then as you're picking this, you'll notice off to the side, it's also checking accessibility for me as I'm building out my theme. So if I were to pick a color here, so we'll go through and add one that's a non-accessible color. So we'll go through and pick one, and you'll see that tell me that this is not an accessible color for this combination and that I should go fix that. And it'll tell me exactly where it has problems, and we can see those problems showing up there in the space. So we're going to go back to our Relic Cloud teal. The dark theme here is to help us indicate if you select a dark background color, you're going to go ahead and set this as a dark theme. And you will have seen those in the past. We have a dark blue and a dark yellow theme as a part of the from Microsoft provided themes. Those are dark themes. They have a dark background color. And so for the accent color, we're going to go ahead and use that add new color experience as well. And so here I can slide through to pick the color that I want, and I can pick any accent color that I want, and that will create it and save that color just for this particular theme. So here you can see I've made all of my color selections, and it's telling me that I'm looking good from an accessibility standpoint. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. And in here, I'm going to go ahead and name my theme. And then you'll also notice here, we've got our accessibility reminder taking you out to learn even more about color contrast and building things with colors that work well for accessibility. But you'll also notice I've got these pivots now available for SharePoint and Viva Connections. So I can actually come over and use those pivots, and it's going to go through and then apply that theme to my site. And so you can see my site here is now using the color that I chose. And then for Viva Connections as well, it's going to apply that over to my Viva Connections dashboard and page, our desktop experience, and you can see how that's going to look there as well. So you can see how this is going to look before you save it and make it available for people in your organization to pick, how it's going to work for both SharePoint and Viva Connections, and you can confirm that it's accessible by using the UI Elements preview here. So once I go ahead and do this, we've now got our Relic Cloud teal theme. We're going to go ahead and hit save. And then once I've done that, now you see that Relic Cloud teal theme has showed up alongside my sales dark and my sales green themes. And now it's going to be available inside of Change the Look from my organization for my site owners to select and apply to their sites.
Yeah, really cool. I have to ask before you go to the site level. So how many of those themes can we actually have? Is there, I don't think there's a hard limit as such, but of course, if there would be like hundreds, it doesn't make any sense. So
yeah, so we have not currently restricted how many themes you can create, but we are recommending that you create no more than 30 to 50 because the list and Change the Look would get incredibly long, and you're going to have to do a lot of scrolling the more themes that you create. We also encourage you to keep names shorter so that they show up into the Change the Look experience really well. But we haven't limited it. And it is important to note here that say, I want this Relic Cloud teal, and I then decide I don't want the green, the dark theme of the green, that after I create it, I still have the ability to come back in and manage this. And if I mark this theme as not visible, and then I save that combination and I save it here, it's still going to show up for me as a brand manager here in the Brand Center app. But you'll see it's now not visible. And then when I go to my site and to Change the Look, that will no longer be available. So you you have the ability to have themes kind of come and go. So this kind of unlocks a lot of places where we've heard from people where you might want to create a seasonal theme or something in particular for an event or something that's happening at your organization, but not want to have it be a permanent addition. So you'd have the ability to create those and manage how they show up and to change the look using that visible setting.
Makes perfect sense. And correct me if I'm wrong. So if there's like 100 sites or thousands of sites which are using the Relay Cloud Teal, which has been set up in here, if I now go and change the Relay Cloud Teal from a color perspective, those changes will be reflected.
They are not reflected until the site owner updates by
okay, so this is a good clarification. Got it. So it is not a runtime resolution of the colors. It's more a apply time resolution of the color.
Yes. But it will update it and to change the look. So if you do make a change, then they can simply go reapply that same theme from change the look and it'll pull the color change down. Now, this is something we're looking at and we're definitely hearing the feedback on this, that you do want a way to centrally push that down and to say, hey, I've updated this change and it would be great if I could then manage that out so that every site that's using it could get that change reflected. But that's not currently a part of this today, but it is something we're definitely hearing feedback on and going to react to in the future, but not today.
Makes perfect sense. And there's kind of two camps on this discussion. Some of the people might say that, well, I don't want to have somebody to change my site without my permission, which is the approach what we're taking right now. But then there's a enterprise level, no, we control the branding. I want to change it across the sites. And by the way, you can still do across the sites appliance with APIs and automation, PowerShell and scripting and all of that stuff. So absolutely still possible. But
very
it's good to know.
So, yeah. And so because we know that we're hearing that, we know that we do have ways for people to do that. But we also, like you said, have heard the feedback from customers and users saying, but I don't want someone to come in and change my site because color can drastically impact the way a site looks. And so if you change a color, we want to make sure that we're respecting that and honoring that. So we're not going and pushing it down today onto existing sites using the theme, but it is something we're investigating as an option that we'll be looking at potentially adding into the brand center in the future.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Really, really cool. How does this look like in a site level or in Viva Connection level?
Yeah.
So we kind of saw the preview already, but it's still.
You saw a preview, but maybe you want to see it on an actual site. So here I jumped over to my landing home site. You can see currently it's using that that periwinkle theme. It's using very much looks like Microsoft Teams, but we're going to jump in and we're going to go out to change the look. So we'll go into change the look. And then when we go into our theme experience here, what you'll see is I still have that custom one that I've added there, but you'll see my from your organization. So now I see that Relay Cloud Teal. And again, in the Brand Center app, I have 3 themes, right? But I did mark one of them as not visible. So here I'm only seeing the 2 themes that are visible in the Brand Center app, the Relay Cloud Teal and the Sales Green. So if I come through and I apply that Relay Cloud Teal to my site, you'll see it apply over to the site, that preview change, and then I can go ahead and save that out, and it's going to apply that theme to my site. And so now you can see that the Relay Cloud landing homepage has now changed over to use my new Relay Cloud Teal theme from the periwinkle theme that it was using earlier.
Yeah. And just to call out, if you go back on the change the look on the themes, there is an option, if anybody is wondering as they're watching the video, there is an option not to actually show all of the out-of-the-box themes, right? So there is a switch, if I remember correctly, on hiding the Microsoft provided themes.
There is PowerShell that you can run to do that. Yes.
Cool. And in the same way, it will be then functioning in the Viva Connection, because Viva Connection has also the theme selection and you're able to apply the settings. It's not necessarily as visible because in Viva Connection, it only primarily drives the button colors and it's not necessarily visible in section colors. So
Yeah.
just to call that
And so
out.
you can see here that this landing homepage is actually my home site, and it is using Viva Connections here. So you can see in Change the Look, we actually call that out specifically, because when I change the theme or the font package or the settings here and Change the Look that change the appearance of the site, it will show up in Viva Connections as well. So regardless of whether I'm entering through
Yep.
Viva Connections or through SharePoint, the same theme and the same font package are reflected across both. So we've got that little banner here in the Change the Look just to remind you that this home site is connected to Viva Connections, and what you change here will impact there as well. And so if I were to go to Viva Connections, it would use the same themes and font packages.
Yep, absolutely makes sense. Really cool. This is, as you said, this is now getting G8. We're finally seeing the fonts and the themes, which is great. So a lot of cool capabilities here from that perspective. Now, I will actually flip a bit, at least for a moment, to talk in this mode. What about the future? So this is now GA on the fonts and themes. Is that it? What are we looking into doing in this branding area overall? Any sneak peeks?
Oh yeah, and we're not slowing down when it comes to the brand center. We have a lot of great ideas and a lot of things that we want to do when it comes to branding in general. So you'll continue to see more advancements coming into the brand center. But the next thing that's coming is actually for individual sites, and we're really excited for this because it actually starts to unlock some of these brand center capabilities for site owners to be
Yeah.
able to customize their own sites independently from the brand center. They'll still have the brand center options available for them. So your organization colors and themes and fonts will be available. But have you ever had that one site where you just want to create your own space? Like I said, maybe there's a one-off event or something that your project team is working on or your team is working on, and you just want it to have that unique look and feel. You'll be able to do that coming soon.
Yeah. And to be fair, I think we can do a really quick sneak peek on that because I think
Yeah.
we actually saw it in the selection, if I'm not mistaken. It was in
Yes, you did.
the action menu.
You did. So let me give you that little sneak peek of this. So you may have noticed this when I came in here before and came to change the look. You'll see a new site branding entry point. And you see we've helped you find that by calling it out as new. And so once I go into site branding, you're going to find an experience that's very similar to the brand center, but slightly different because this is just for your site. So here you'll see themes and font packages, and they're here as pivots, and I can create new themes and new font packages here. So I'm going to go through and I'll show you that. Now, to note that if your organization has not in the brand center added their own fonts, you're not going to have the font package creation experience available to you. This does require the brand center to have organization fonts be made available for you to then be able to create your own font packages. You're not able to upload your own fonts for your site. You are limited to what is available through your organization. But when it comes to themes, you'll have a lot of options here because you can come in and create new theme. And look, you're going to have that same very familiar experience that you just saw me walk through for the brand center. And the choices are there as well. I can pick from those color values that my organization set up for me, or I could create a new color scheme. So I'm going to come in and kind of create a red theme. You can see it's still indicating to me if it's accessible, if it's not accessible. And so I can come through and pick that, and I can go in and pick my accent colors. So for this, I'm just going to make it kind of a gray color. And then you can see, still checking out, it's a great accessible theme here. So I can go ahead and hit the next step, and I can name this whatever I want, right? Like this is my theme. I can name it whatever I want. It's going to show up just on this site. It's not going to show up on every site in my Change the Look experience. So here I'm able to come through. I can create that. I can preview it as well, just like I could in the brand center. So you'll see it come in, and then you'll see that red get applied to the site. So you can see what that looks like, and you can see it for Viva Connections as well. You're only going to see that Viva Connections pivot if your site is the home site and it has
Yes.
Viva Connections with it. So if you're just a site in your organization, you're not going to see Viva Connections. But then once I go ahead and click save, now you can see I get that theme card much like I had in Brand Center. Feels very familiar, right? Just like I was in Brand Center. So if I then go back to my site and I go back to that change the look experience, just as soon as the internet here cooperates with me, and I go back into theme, what you'll notice is that now, because I've used that site branding option, now I've got a from this site section available as well.
Yes.
So I'm able to pick the themes or the font packages that I've created in that site branding experience for this site and customize it that way. So you have not only now your organization brand options, the options that Microsoft has given you for theming, but now you can create your own for your sites.
Cool. This is really cool. And I know that there's a bit more on this particular feature, but we'll get another video on that one. But it's really cool to see kind of the dimensions and having that, first of all, having the theme builder in the Brand Center is brilliant. So you don't have to play around with the PowerShells and automation and APIs and all of that stuff. That was a bit messy. So good to get that one included. But then also have this new dimension on a site level theming if needed. But again, separate video, separate discussion. But already getting what we have in the Brand Center for general availability looks really, really cool. So thank you, Cathy, on that one.
Yeah, we're really excited for it and can't wait to hear more from everyone as you start using more of it.
Yeah. And there's so much in the pipeline, so much cool features and capabilities and improvements. So for anybody who's watching the video, please add comments, add notes on the blog post, all of that stuff. All of that is getting noted in our feedback systems. And we are considering all of your contributions and thoughts to improve the products as well. We are building SharePoint, Microsoft 365, all of the Microsoft products for you. So your input actually matters for us a lot. So thank you for all of the feedback and ideas in advance.
And there's even more coming outside of SharePoint and Viva Connections with the Brand Center as well. I give a little sneak peek there as well. So we've got some features working with Copilot for PowerPoint. And so you'll be able to use your organization's images as well as you're able to have PowerPoint using Copilot create a template or a whole presentation based off your organization templates. Those are managed through our organization asset libraries, which are a part of the Brand Center. And then we've got Clipchamp coming along as well with their brand kits and having the brand kits stored and managed in the Brand Center. So really excited to have even more things coming out this year tied into the Brand Center with SharePoint and Viva Connections and across Microsoft 365.
Yeah, so really have one location where you can manage your brand within the cross Microsoft 365, and then we'll get more and more products and capabilities which are adapting to that one centralized location.
Yes. It's exciting.
Cool. Really exciting. So, and thank you, Cathy, for joining on the show. We went a bit long today. It's okay. A lot of cool and excitement features and capabilities. So really, really cool to have all of this shown for the audience and customers and partners. And of course, by the way, from a developer perspective, I represent some of that messaging as well. Just to call this out, the fonts, we do have guidance on how to get access on Brand Center fonts within your extensibility for third-party extensibility. Can tap into these settings as well. And also the same applies for theming. So you can just tap into the color settings so that the web parts and capabilities which people are buying maybe from the store or directly from partners or building by themselves, they can tap into the Branding Center definitions as well. So great work on that one as well, Cathy.
Thank you.
But I guess that's it for this one. Thank you for joining on the show. We need to come up with a name for the show, but that's a separate discussion. So thank you for joining, and we'll be back with the new features sooner or later. Cheers.
Thanks,
Thank you, Cathy.